I 28M dated my ex, Alyssa 26F, for almost 3 years. For most of that time, I was the stable one. Not rich, but steady. I had a decent job in IT, paid my rent on time, and cooked most nights because going out felt like setting my wallet on fire. Alyssa, on the other hand, had champagne tastes and a student loan budget. When we first met, I thought her princess-on-a-budget personality was cute. She'd say stuff like, "I'm not high maintenance, I just like nice things." But as time went on, I realized nice things always somehow ended up being my financial responsibility. When we moved in together, she promised to split the bills. That promise lasted about 2 paychecks. Then came the excuses. My paychecks delayed. My boss shorted my tips. "Can you cover rent just this once?" Just this once turned into every month. It wasn't like she didn't contribute at all. She'd occasionally buy groceries or surprise me with takeout when she felt guilty. But for the most part, I was footing the bill for rent, utilities, car payments, and even her phone plan because it's just easier if it's on one account. I told myself it was temporary, that she just needed time to get on her feet. That's what you do when you love someone, right? You help. But love started to feel more like a subscription service I forgot to cancel. Things started going downhill when she got a new friend group, mostly girls who worked in marketing or social media. They were always posting self-care brunches and soft life content. Suddenly, Alyssa decided she was done living paycheck to paycheck, even though, ironically, it wasn't her paycheck keeping us afloat. She started dressing differently, talking differently, and constantly comparing me to her friends' boyfriends. "Bree's boyfriend took her to Miami for her birthday," she'd say while scrolling through Instagram. I'd glance up from my laptop and reply, "Cool, Bree's boyfriend also makes 6 figures and drives a Tesla. I've got a Corolla and a 401k. Apparently that wasn't as sexy. Then one day, after yet another argument about ambition and standards, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "I just don't think I can date someone who's broke." The word broke hit harder than I expected. Not because it was true. I wasn't rich. But I wasn't struggling. But because of how casually she said it, like all the bills I paid, all the stability I gave her, didn't mean a damn thing. I just sat there for a minute, processing it. Then I asked, "You think I'm broke?" She shrugged, scrolling through her phone like she hadn't just gutted me. "You're comfortable, not ambitious. I want more from life." That's when something inside me flipped. I stood up, went to my desk, opened my laptop, and started typing. She looked up, confused. "What are you doing?" I said without looking at her. "Since I'm too broke to date you, I might as well get reimbursed for everything I paid for while you were pretending to be rich." She laughed until she realized I wasn't joking. I started listing every bill, every dinner, every temporary favor she'd promised to pay me back for. By the time I finished, the document was 4 pages long, and at the top, in bold, I titled it, "Invoice, Cost of Dating Alyssa, Approximate Value of Wasted Potential." I didn't send it right away. I stared at that PDF sitting on my desktop for 2 whole days, wondering if I was being petty or finally standing up for myself. Then Alyssa posted something on Threads that tipped me over the edge. It said, "Ladies, never settle for less. Broke men will drain you faster than your 9-to-5 ever could." I laughed, out loud, in my tiny apartment that I was still paying for alone because she hadn't even bothered to pick up her stuff yet. So yeah, I attached that 4-page invoice to an email and hit send. Subject line, "From your broke ex-boyfriend." Message body, "Payment due upon receipt." Petty? Absolutely. Satisfying? Beyond words. But it didn't end there. She called me 20 minutes later, screaming. "What the hell is this?" she yelled. "An invoice," I said calmly. "Since you said I'm too broke to date you, I figured I should start treating our relationship like a business transaction." "You can't be serious," she snapped. "You're embarrassing yourself." "Not as much as you embarrassed me," I replied, and hung up. I thought that was it. A clean, cathartic ending. But apparently, Alyssa decided to make it a public issue. A few hours later, I started getting tagged in TikToks. She had posted a video titled, "My ex just sent me an invoice for dating me." The video was her, in full influencer lighting, reading parts of the invoice in a mocking tone. $200 for car insurance coverage while you didn't pay your share? Are you serious? $600 for groceries because you forgot your wallet? Who even keeps track of this stuff? It might have worked in her favor if she hadn't shown my actual itemized list. People paused her video, zoomed in, started commenting things like, "Girl, he paid your rent? Wait, why are you laughing? So he wasn't broke, you were just freeloading." Within hours, the comment section turned against her. The top comment had 100K likes. She called him broke while living off his paycheck. The audacity could power a small city. She deleted the video that night, but it was too late. Someone had already reposted it on Reddit under R2 hot takes with the title, "Influencer calls her ex broke. Turns out he has receipts." And there I was, scrolling through thousands of strangers calling her out. People who didn't even know me but somehow got it. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a pushover. But the next morning, she showed up at my door, makeup smudged, voice shaky, holding her phone like a weapon. "You need to fix this," she said. "My brand is dying because of you." I crossed my arms. "Funny, I thought broke people couldn't ruin careers." She glared at me, eyes cold. "You'll regret this." And I almost did, because the next thing she did made everything 10 times messier. I should have expected it. Alyssa wasn't the type to take a hit quietly. The day after she came to my door, she unleashed a full-blown PR campaign. And I use PR loosely, because it was more pretty ridiculous. She started posting long notes app screenshots on Threads and Instagram, talking about how she'd escaped a controlling relationship. One of them literally said, "He tracked every cent he spent like I was an employee instead of a partner." Emotional manipulation is still abuse, even if it comes with receipts. Within hours, half her mutuals were reposting it with crying emojis and, "You deserve better, queen." At first, it got under my skin. Then I realized she was proving my point. I hadn't been controlling. I'd been the only adult in a two-person circus. She didn't like accountability. She liked lifestyle aesthetics. Still, the situation was spiraling fast. My phone was blowing up. Coworkers sending links, friends texting screenshots. Someone had even started a Reddit thread in our relationship drama titled, "Influencer Alyssa Gets Exposed by Her Own Receipts." People were doing side-by-side comparisons of her posts versus the invoices. Some of her followers jumped ship entirely. Others defended her, saying I was financially manipulative. So I did something I'd never done before. I told my side. Once. I posted a calm 2-minute TikTok. No insults, no sarcasm, just facts. I'm not here to drag anyone. I just want to make something clear. I didn't send that invoice out of spite. I sent it because I spent 3 years paying for someone who called me broke. I kept records because promises kept turning into excuses. That's it. I ended it with, "If respecting your own time and money makes you controlling, then I guess I'm guilty." It blew up overnight. The comments were unreal. "Nah, that's accountability, not abuse. He handled this like a king." The audacity to call him broke is wild. Even financial influencers started stitching my video, saying things like normalize invoicing freeloaders. Alyssa tried to clap back again, said my video was performative and misogynistic. But people had already seen the screenshots, the timelines, the receipts. Her story didn't add up. Soon, brands quietly started unfollowing her. One even commented under her post, a simple emoji, before removing her from their affiliate list. I didn't feel happy exactly, more like vindicated. Years of being made to feel small, dismissed, and unambitious, undone by her own arrogance. But just when I thought the chaos had finally died down, I got a DM from someone unexpected. It was one of her friends, the same ones who'd been cheering her on during brunches. And she said, "You should know, Alyssa's planning something. She's saying she'll flip the narrative with a new video about you." The DM from her friend didn't surprise me, but it did make my stomach twist. Flip the narrative. Classic Alyssa. That phrase was her favorite escape hatch. Every time something went wrong in our relationship, she'd twist it until somehow I was the one apologizing. So when I heard she was planning another video, I braced myself. 2 nights later, it dropped. Title: When the person you loved turns into your biggest hater, huh? The video opened with sad music and a montage of old clips. Us cooking, laughing, holding hands. She had edited them to look cinematic, like some tragic breakup documentary. Then came her monologue. "I'm not perfect, but I didn't deserve to be publicly humiliated by someone I trusted. I helped him emotionally, supported him when he had nothing, and this is how he repays me." With an invoice. The comments started filling in. Mostly supportive at first. People saying, "You're so strong," and "Don't let hate win." But then, the internet remembered something. Screenshots don't lie. Someone reposted the video with side-by-side clips of her mocking me in the first viral post, overlaid with the caption, "Ma'am, you literally called him broke while he paid your bills." That's when the tide turned again. The comment section went nuclear. "She's not flipping the narrative. She's spinning herself into a tornado. You can't edit your way out of accountability. Girl, he didn't humiliate you. You uploaded the evidence yourself." By the next morning, The video had over 1 million views, mostly from people calling her out. And then she did something that genuinely shocked me. She called. When I answered, her voice was quiet, shaky, not performative this time. "Can we talk?" she said, privately. No cameras, no internet. We met at the same coffee shop where she'd once told me I was too broke to date her. Funny how life circles back. She looked exhausted. No lashes, no perfect lighting, just Alyssa in a hoodie and regret. She said, "I didn't mean for it to get this ugly. I was just angry, embarrassed. You made me feel small." I took a sip of my coffee. "You made me feel invisible. There's a difference." She winced. "I guess I just wanted people to see my side." "They did," I said. "And now they've seen the truth." She looked at me for a long time, eyes glassy. "You really kept track of everything I owed?" I nodded, not out of spite, out of survival. There was a silence. Not awkward, just heavy. Then she said, "You're not the villain I made you out to be." I didn't say anything. There wasn't anything to say. When she finally left, she didn't look back. And for once, I didn't either. A week later, I got another DM from a small finance podcast that wanted to interview me about dating and money boundaries. I said yes, because somewhere between the invoices and the chaos, I realized something. I wasn't trying to get revenge. I was trying to get balance. And the funniest part? The guy who was too broke to date her ended up with something she could never buy. Peace. The podcast episode came out 2 weeks later. They titled it "Dating on a Budget When Love Gets Expensive." At first, I thought it'd just be a small talk about boundaries and bills, but the host asked me something that hit deep. "Do you think you sent the invoice for revenge, or for closure?" I paused, really thinking about it for the first time. "Neither," I said finally. "I sent it because I wanted to stop feeling like I owed someone for loving them. I thought keeping quiet was noble, that covering for someone was proof of commitment. But really, I was just letting myself be undervalued." Silence. Then the host said, "So what would you tell your past self?" I smiled, half laughing. "Don't invest in someone who treats your effort like pocket change." That line somehow became the headline quote when the clip went viral again. But this time, it wasn't about drama. It was about healing. People flooded my DMs, telling me about their own Alyssas, partners who drained them emotionally, financially, or both. One guy even said, "Dude, you inspired me to ask my girlfriend to finally split rent. It's awkward, but I feel lighter." It was surreal, realizing that my petty little act of defiance had turned into something bigger. Meanwhile, Alyssa disappeared from the internet for a while. I didn't check on her. Not out of hate, but because I didn't need to anymore. Last I heard, she got a regular job and stopped posting lifestyle content. Maybe she finally realized that soft life isn't about someone else footing the bill. It's about building your own stability. As for me, I moved into a smaller place, paid fully by me, started saving again, even went back to school part-time, just to prove to myself that I could rebuild without resentment. Sometimes friends still joke, "Man, can you send me an invoice for all my bad dates?" And I laugh, but there's truth in it. Because we all pay for love in some way. Time, trust, patience, pride. But you can't keep pouring into someone who never planned to pour back. Alyssa once said I was too broke to date her. Maybe I was broke in self-respect, broke in boundaries. But not anymore. Now every cent I earn goes to someone who deserves it, me. And that, my friends, is one debt I'm finally done collecting.